Hello, my friends. I want to do this video on the great lymphatic system. I have one, I think it was the second one or third one that I did, so I'm going to repeat that to some extent. And I think this is key that you understand what the lymphatic system is. There's different theories. The medical theory is one where I feel holds no water, and the massage modality kind of picked up on their theory, and I think this is a very bad theory. Doesn't hold any water. Before I do that, I wanted to comment. Just before that, I did a question and answer video, and this question is from Girl Gone Vegan, Kelly, and the question was, and I'd never heard of this drug, which was Cortef, and the way this is spelled here, it's but Cortef. Now, the way you were asking this Girl Gone Vegan, you were asking about cayenne pepper and if it's a wonderful herb and all this, and then Cortef. A friend of mine used low dosage of Cortef for you put two F's, but it's Cortef, for 3 months, and her adrenals are healed. And this was a question relating to adrenal fatigue. Well, Cortef is a hydrocortisone or a corticosteroid. And Kelly, you know better. That statement that some girl used corticosteroid for 3 months and cured her adrenals is like, that's the most insane statement I've heard somebody make. You don't regenerate adrenal glands with corticosteroids. You've heard me over and over tell you that in medical, naturopathic, and probably in homeopathic, we all have the same understanding with steroids, hormones, and neurotransmitters, and I might add digestive enzymes. You take these and you'll lose your glands. If you get the PDR on Cortef and read it, you'll find just the opposite. It causes hypoadrenal insufficiency, meaning it shuts down your adrenal glands. Well, that's what steroids do. You can't take a steroid, a hormone, or a neurotransmitter and expect your glands to do better. It's actually going to make them weaker. We've talked about this many, many times. So that question, I thought, very, very inappropriate when you made that statement, because there's no way that's even possible. Matter of fact, the indications are extreme infections at times, death from these infections, optic nerve damage, ocular cataracts. There's a whole line of symptoms. Glaucoma, damage to the optic nerve. It goes on and on and on. And of course, women who take it that are pregnant, children can have very serious hypoadrenal problems, which means high neurological problems, steroid problems, sugar metabolism problems, diabetes. There's a whole list of problems that if you read what your adrenals are and what they do for you, imagine if they didn't. And that's what you would be getting if you're taking cortisol. This idea that you have of taking some kind of pharmaceutical overcoming your problems, you should have left that a long time ago, honey. All right, I want to get back to this video on the great lymphatic system. If you do not understand your lymphatic system, you will not understand anything of what the medical doctors loosely call diseases. Medical doctors blame all a man's suffering, all the pain, all the swelling, all the tumors, all the cysts, all the fibromyalgia, all the lupus, all of these things they blame on ticks, they blame on Epstein-Barr viruses, they love to blame the pathogens or the little microbes of bacteria. They love to blame all these people. The problem with it, nothing could be further from the truth. This is the problem. They're riding a wagon down the wrong road, and that road is dark. There's no answers. There's no answers to the questions down that road, and everybody ends up getting hurt or dying going down that road. Nobody walks out of medical treatment with a robust sense of vitality and health, because that's not their gig. That's not what they do. And I thought the lack of understanding of the body's major fluid And focusing on the minor fluid, the blood, is very inappropriate for any type of health understanding, because 99% of man's suffering has nothing whatsoever to do with the blood and has everything to do with the lymphatic system. So let's go over the body's lymphatic system, because it's real easy to understand that system. The theory allopathically doesn't fit if you understand the body's lymph system and you start watching it work properly. When you get it fixed, you will start to confirm and see all these things we're going to talk about here. So if you stop and think about the human body for a minute, the human body is simply just a bunch of cells. 100 trillion cells roughly comprise the human body, head to toe. So if I'm looking at your liver, I'm just looking at a bunch of cells. If I'm looking at your heart, I'm looking at a bunch of cells. If it's a female, I'm looking at the ovaries or the uterus or the cervix. What am I looking at? A bunch of cells. If I look at a man's prostate, testicles, bunch of cells. If I look at your muscles, if I look at your bones, bunch of cells. If I look at your brain, bunch of cells. How about your skin? Bunch of cells. So the human body is comprised roughly of 100 trillion cells. So the buck stops at the cell, because everything you experience in the human body is because of cells. Whether they're producing your hormones that make things happen, your steroids that make things happen, your neurotransmitters which turn on the nervous systems, all these things make everything happen. So your endocrine glands in the human body are really the bosses. They're the best government that you ever had, because this government helps all the people by what they produce, and everybody works together. So the buck stops really at the cell. So if we took the body apart and we said, okay, wow, everything's a bunch of cells, what else is in there? Well, two major fluids. There are two major fluids that flow around all the cells. These two major fluids are called interstitial fluids, which simply means fluids that flow around the cells, right? Now, that comprises the predominance of the human body. Outside of that, you have some bacterium, which is essential. Every septic system I know of has bacteria in it, and you would never kill the bacteria in your septic tank. You do that, and you're in trouble, and we'll go over that here in a minute. People have some viruses. Get rid of them. They're easy. They're proteins. They're not little single-celled organisms. They're like antigens. Their job is to bond, if you will, to the weaker cells to create immune response. You can have high viral loads in your body and never have a problem. High Hep C, high HIV viral loads, no problem. When they start bonding, now you have to the cell, now you have AIDS, or you have deterioration of the liver, or whatever virals that are involved. HPV, it doesn't matter. But till then, they're just a protein that you can detoxify out of the body. Doesn't matter. Herpes, it doesn't matter what it is. You can detoxify these out of your body. Now, we got some protozoas. Some people have worms and flukes. Okay, clean these out of the body, not difficult. And there's some chemistry in the body. But outside of that, the predominance of the human body is simply just cells and two major fluids. And these two major fluids, of course, their job is to take care of the health of the cells. Right? And these two major fluids are very simple to understand, because it's easy to understand what one has to do to be healthy. Every house that I know of is full of, have two rooms in them that matches these two fluids. Cars have these two areas in them so the motor can run efficiently. Everywhere that I see in the world, you have two things taking place. Creation is more or less a consumption and elimination activities. Almost everywhere you see is consumption and elimination of energetics, of chemistry, and then the elimination of wastes or byproducts from the interaction of chemistry. Whenever chemistry comes together, there's always byproducts eliminated from this. So we see that in industry, and of course we call the byproducts of industry pollution, because most of the places just dumped them in the water, dumped them in the air, dumped them into the ground. So we lightly call that pollution. But plants eat and eliminate, animals eat and eliminate, humans eat and eliminate, everything eats and eliminates at this level. Well, that could also mean the cells, right? Every cell in your body just about eats and eliminates as well. So we find that we have two separate issues that we have to deal with. The eating or the consuming of nutrition, but then also the eliminating of waste. Because some people don't stop and think that the reason why you eat is to feed 100 trillion cells. Every cell in your body requires carbon, which is sugar, and oxygen, just like a car. Carbon is gasoline. Got to have it or your motor doesn't run. If you don't get a sugar, if you don't get glucose or fructose or galactose as a baby, you don't run. That's not good. You're going to lose your cells. Because glucose or fructose or galactose is broken down into carbon, which is carbohydrates, is carbon chain constituents. That's why they're carbohydrates. And you have simple carbohydrates and you have poly or complex carbohydrates, which are called starch. But carbohydrates are simple fruits and vegetables. That is the requirement of most vertebrates on this planet, is to have some. And our particular species, the Homo sapien, is exclusively fruits and vegetable eaters. Herbivores, exclusively vegetarians. We're frugivores, so our diet should be exclusively fruits and berries, and maybe some melons. Hard for vegetables, even for the Homo sapien, but we can tolerate them. But nothing else. We are essential carbon beings. Remember the carbon print. Oxygen, here's our carburetor. And we mix oxygen and carbon at the cellular level to get ATP, adenosine triphosphate, energy for the cell. So vital that we have those. So nutrition is important, no question, but it's easy. Nutrition is easy to understand. It's easy to understand that no animal cooks their food before they eat it. That's easy to understand. Why do you cook food? You know, if you look at the Homo sapiens species, and this is according to National Geographic and many other well-educated groups, that the human species is a frugivore species. Just look at which animal in the world we resemble. These are frugivores. In other words, we don't have anything aggressive. We're not even like primates. We don't have anything aggressive that would show that we destroy our food before we eat it. We simply have very simple tools to pick, peel, and eat. It's just that simple. So we're true frugivores. Of all the species, we're the truest of frugivores. And yet, we don't pay any attention to raising our fruits good. These farmers have lost their ability to raise good foods. They don't care anymore. Nobody cares. So we have some of the crappiest foods in the world here in America. Sad. We have to go to the tropics somewhere to eat decent anymore. I think it's just sad what's happened to this. This farm aid needs to turn up the heat on these farmers and start getting them to respect the land better and to respect the quality of their activity, their produce, so we all can eat good. You know, that's the key to survival, is consumption of some sort of chemistry or magnetics. But as vital as it is to eat, it is also vital to eliminate waste. And if you've had a little baby in your life, you have two things that you must do to that baby for that baby to be well. You must feed them, but you must also change the diaper, because he who shall eat shall also eliminate waste. And this is also true at 100 trillion cells. If you look at the body, you have basically two major kind of waste and one sub-major kind of waste. The major waste, one of the major wastes in the human body is digestive waste. That's obvious. That goes out the stool, goes out the colon. That's digestive waste. What about cellular waste? What about waste from 100 trillion cells? What happens? Well, medical doctors pretty much believe in the theory that you poop in your kitchen. Pretty much you dump your cellular waste right back into the venous system, into the blood. So, massage therapy bought on that theory, and if you do a lymph drainage, they're draining to the inferior vena cava, basically to your heart. Now, that means that you're taking sewage and pushing them toward your kitchen. I think that's insane. That lacks practicality. You don't see it anywhere in nature. Everybody's trying to get rid of the waste out of the house because they're toxic. No question about it. So you must understand that there's another channel for eliminating cellular waste, and it becomes very obvious. And you can see this firsthand. And you can see when you correct this problem of the inability to remove cellular waste, and you can begin to see the effects of that. So let's look at the great lymphatic system, because when we look in the body and we cut a piece of liver tissue off and we put it under a microscope and we throw it up on the wall, what do we see? We see a bunch of cells and two major fluids. One of the major fluids is moving fairly quick. That's the blood. Now the blood only comprises 1/4 of this fluid. Only 1/4 of the fluid, and medical doctors are fixated on that fluid? Are we really? What's 3/4 of interstitial fluids? That's right. That's your lymph fluids. Your lymph fluids is your thicker lipid-based, probably cholesterol-based, lipid-based fluid. It's a thicker mucousy fluid. The mucosa that lines your mouth, your sinuses, lines the whole body, the gut, the lungs, the bronchi. All that mucosa is part of your lymph system. Your lymph system is the body's gigantic sewer system / main immune system. Even your blood dumps into the lymph system what it doesn't want. Just like in the kitchen, if you don't want it, you throw it in the trash or put it down the food disposal. That's what your body does. The blood must keep itself clean. It's the pizza delivery guy. It's the guy that brings on the goodies. Can't do everything. You can't dump waste in your blood, and you'll see real soon here why you can't do that. There must be another path outside to the outside world. And you'll see that path. Now let's look at the great lymphatic system. When you look at these fluids flowing around the cell, the blood is carrying nutrition and moving right along. What you have here, you have the arteries bringing in the blood and the veins taking away the used up oxygenated blood and stuff. So what you've got is you've got capillaries here on the venous side, and you have capillaries here on the lymph side. Now, the problem with the venous capillaries, they're too small for most proteins and acids and cells, so the body can't dump waste back that way. It must go the lymph way. So the lymph takes any damaged cells, the lymph takes all the waste from cells and carries them to the lymph vessels. Now, we have blood vessels, but no one's ever talked to you about your lymph vessels. And your lymph vessels simply are the sewer pipes in the human body that carry waste from the cells to the little chambers where these wastes are acted upon. And this chamber is the same chamber your house has out in the yard, or the city has if you live in a swankier neighborhood. So let's look at it in terms of comparing your body sewer system to your home sewer system, because they're identical. So when you have to go to the bathroom, we find a toilet or a hole or something, but in a house we generally have toilets here. We put our waste in toilets, we flush the toilet. We know our wastes are being pushed through the sewer pipes by the water. We know, if you know a little more about it, you know that out in the yard is a septic tank. Now, you know septic tanks are designed to where all your waste go into them. The liquids are ran off to the drain field and absorbed back down into the aquifers, being filtered through all the layers. But your solids are staying in the tank. Now, who's in that tank just waiting for supper to come along? Bacteria. Absolutely, your septic tank is full of bacteria. I used to build custom homes for a living, and when I put in a new septic tank, friends would say, "Did you seat it?" I said, "No, I don't seat the septic tanks. You'll smell it for a couple of days, but it won't take long." Because you can't keep microbes out. Well, this ridiculous, I gotta wash my hands, bacteria. Tell that to an old farm boy that's lived on a farm around all kinds of hogs and cattle and all kinds of things. Don't be afraid of bacteria. Be afraid of waste. If you're going to be afraid of anything, don't be afraid of the messenger. Be afraid of what your bacteria is acting upon. This is the problem. Medical doctors still go by this antiquated Jenner Pasteur theory of the germ. And wasn't it Pasteur, I believe, died on his deathbed saying, "Whoops, nope, I'd killed one of my kids trying to prove something that's fallacy"? We still live by that. That's what I love about science. It is about as constipated as you can get. Biological transmutations was introduced in the early 1900s, and some chemists are still going, Every biochemist I know of disagrees. Every chemistry professor disagrees to some extent. So just understand that science is already here. Science is God. Science is nature. This is a large laboratory or biosphere that is supporting untold amount of life forms on it. God knows and has it down, not man. Man is too busy trying to dispel what God did or put some kind of curve on it that has no basis in reality. What's going on is going on in life, and it's going on without the help of man. What man's doing is toxifying the planet even more. So your body does the same thing, from the cells to the lymph vessels to the body's septic tanks, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of septic tanks in your body. My house only has one. And the septic tanks in your body, of course, are called lymph nodes. And your lymph nodes are full of immune cells to take care of any damaged cells and bacteria. Now, what is the role of bacteria? To break down sewage? Same sewage in your septic tank as in your body? Absolutely. Because what is in a septic tank? Urine and stool. And I just gave away where your body gets rid of waste, didn't I? I just gave that to you. Because from the lymph nodes, medical doctors believe you reabsorb waste back into the venous system. They don't even consider lymph nodes as a big deal. They soon cut out your tonsils or adenoids or appendix or any lymph node you want. Just cut it. If it's swollen, cut it out. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's say that you got up in the morning, you use the toilet, you flush the toilet, and pretty soon you go, oh my God, this is backing up in my house. Something's blocked. So you call a septic man out. He comes out and he says, well, sir, your septic tank's full out there. Going to have to remove it. Well, don't I need a septic tank, sir? No, sir. No, we can get that right out of there for you. Well, okay. So what if my septic tank was full and I had it removed instead of simply cleaned out? I had it removed, but I kept using and flushing the toilet in the house. Think that'd be a bit of a problem for me in the house? Absolutely. It started backing up in the house and run me right out, wouldn't it? Well, when you take a lymph node out, you got cells on the other side of that lymph node dumping their waste to that lymph node. What happens to that? Well, in many cases, the word was lymphedema, meaning your lymph system backed up, your sewer system backed up. But this isn't just a sewer system. Oh, no. We're not to the best part yet. So you never remove lymph nodes, just simply clean them out. And if you have a cancer cell in the lymph nodes, where else would you want the body to take these cells? Got any idea? You want to throw them in the blood, something like that? You know, that's obvious. That's your system that cleans you. That's your immune system. That's the system that helps the body keep clean. Just remember that. This is a vital system that's 3/4 of interstitial fluids. 3/4 of the fluids that flow around all your cells is your lymphatic fluids. Now, from the lymph nodes, where does your waste go? Not back into the blood system. You can convert some of this chemistry, but most of it has to be eliminated to the outside world. Where do you think your body does that? Through the liver? I've had people say through the liver. Through the liver doesn't expel to the outside world. No, but your 3 kidneys do. You have 3 kidneys that are the main eliminative organs of cellular waste, not your stool, your kidneys. Your right kidney drains your right head, your right arm, your right breast, your chest, your right hip, your right knee, your right leg, your right ovary, your right testicle, part of the uterus. Your left does the same thing. Well, wait a minute. I said 3 kidneys. 3 kidneys. Oh, forgot one. The skin. This is your largest kidney. It's wrapped all the way around you. Why do you sweat for? What would be the value of a fever? This is simple stuff that medical doctors should be taught and should know. And you're going to these people that don't know this? That's scary. Because I spent a lot of years in emergency rooms, and all I saw with American medical doctors, stopping fevers, giving antibiotics. So instead of letting the sewage come out of the person, they kill the bacteria that's eating on it, they break the fever, they stop the body from eliminating its sewage. Oh yeah, the sewage is still there. Oh yeah, no problem. That's not the problem. It was simply the bacteria eating on the sewage that was the problem. Yes, there's some gnarly bacteria, but there's some very gnarly septic systems out there that are really highly clogged. The average person has a major problem in the lymphatic system. The problem with the kidneys, they must filter these cellular wastes. And there's a couple of glands, one on each top of each kidney, called the adrenal glands. They control the kidney. And when the adrenals are down, the kidneys are down. And it probably started the other way with all these high-protein diets, which are known to damage the kidneys. And then, of course, that broke down the lymph system, and that backed up into the adrenals, and now we have so much adrenal problems. The adrenal glands are unbelievable to you. They run your autonomic nervous system. That's all your neurotransmitters. They also neurologically affect your elimination from stool to urine. Then you have all your steroids, from cortisol, that is sugar metabolism, hence hypo or hyperglycemia, all the way to stilbestrol, breast shapes and sizes, all the way to mineral utilization except for calcium, that's parathyroid. So you got tons of things going on, your estrogen, your testosterone, your aldosterones. You get all these sort of things are all created in the adrenals. So to have those adrenals down, not real good. Just in the beginning of this, I was dressing a lady that thought it would be okay to take corticosteroids in terms of pharmaceutical steroids because that would heal the adrenal glands. No doctor on this planet believes that. If he does, he should turn in his license, because most doctors at every level know that it has the opposite effect. It weakens the adrenal glands. That's why you don't keep people on steroids long. This is why a lot of veterinarians won't even give steroids to animals, because it shuts down their adrenal glands. What's the wisdom in that? There is none. The wisdom is making the adrenal glands healthy again. So understanding this gigantic lymph system is in your body is vital. So pretty easy, right? So far, your body's just a bunch of cells, two major fluids. One's blood, which is only 1/4 of this interstitial or fluid that flows around the cell, and 3/4 is the lymphatic fluids that flow around the cells. Vital to understand that, right? The kidneys, the 3 kidneys, are the eliminative organs of cellular waste, not digestive waste. Very little cellular waste go through the colon. Even the colon dumps its waste through the kidneys. Yes. You leaving?
I'm leaving.
You are? Okay. Hang tight. I'll turn this off. I apologize for that. It was a little intermission. Got some good friends down from different places, and so I had to say goodbye. So getting back to this lymph system, you must understand how that works and how simple it is to understand that. Just think of how your home sewer system works, and that's how your body sewer system works. It's that simple. But where we differ is the understanding of the kidneys. When you pee in a jar and your urine is clear to a little yellow to maybe amber, okay, no problems. It doesn't matter what color when you're detoxifying. But if your urine is clear, there's no sediment in the urine, there's no mucus threads in the urine, you're not filtering your lymph system. Remember, your urine should have chemistry in it. For males that pee in a toilet, your urine should head toward the bottom of the toilet. It should be more dense than the water. For males that pee in a toilet, your urine should head toward the bottom of the toilet. It should be more dense than the water, because you have sewage in it. And so, important to check your urine once in a while and make sure you have sediment in it. You'll only know whether one kidney's filtering, but at least somebody's filtering. If your urine is clear, forget it. You're not filtering your lymph system anymore. And that's when you start having symptoms of pain, swelling. Pain and swelling are some of the symptoms of the lymph system backing up. Now let's go one step further, and I think this is vital that everyone understand this next step, because it is also simple to understand, but vital to understand, because this is the core of basically all life in creation, and of course particularly relative to you on this planet right now. From a perspective of a chemist, all life is nothing but chemistry. And chemistry, all these chemical compounds are all made from the elements. And we call the elements elements because those are the building blocks of all creation. And they found a couple of new elements the other day, named them some kind of goofy names. I couldn't even pronounce them hardly. And I brought us up to 123, 126 elements now, I forget. So we have a fair amount of elements that make up and comprise all of chemistry. Calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, zinc, arsenic, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, helium, nitrogen. So we have all these components that make up all of life. And then because we thought we were maybe better than God or something, we decided to play with chemistry. I had a chemistry set growing up. I always loved chemistry. Science. I excelled in science. I love science. I love to see how things are put together and how they're made. But they must fit. Our theories and our understandings must fit like a hand in a perfect glove with creation and this biosphere and the activity and the life and times of all the species. Everything must fit. Diet, nutrition, everything from elimination to activity to rest. All these aspects of life must be observed and understood. Man, his mind has carried him so far away from the world, the biosphere, the planet, that we feel like we're the superior ones on the planet. And I thought that has done nothing to serve man well at all. It's created a narcissism and a I don't care about all life. So in chemistry, we've made a lot of things. We've made coal tar products, we made antifreeze products, we've literally made plastic everywhere. We've literally made all kinds of things. Ink, we've done all kinds of chemistry out there. Of course, in doing that, we've had to break apart the chemistry that was created by the Supreme Being. Chemistry in nature is all bonded together. Where arsenic in nature is a microtrace element, is a nutritive element. If I bring it forward like a elemental, say like calcium, and I take it at that level, I'm going to die from it. So God put everything in proper ratios and magnetically bonded together. When we go in and we rip apart chemistry, we break the magnetic bonding. Now we have an open-end magnetic bonding or ability to bond with something else. So what we've created is free radicals from the bonding of chemistry in ways that we don't understand yet. We don't know what's antagonistic chemistry to another. We know some things, like vitamin C is antagonistic to calcium. So we know some of these things, but we don't know very much of them. Studied chemistry all my life. So that's a problem. But there's one thing you must understand. No matter how much chemistry we're looking, let's say we had 10,000 compounds in front of us, and we had 100 elements in front of us. How many sides can we divide all this chemistry into? How many sides are there to chemistry? Of all these thousands and thousands of compounds and probably hundreds of elements, how many sides can we divide this up into? Most of you already know that. A lot of you don't. And that is simply two. Two. I don't think there's anything much more simple. So what you see in God and you see in creation is the simplistic and the complex. You must understand the simplistic before you understand the complex. Because if you jump into the complex, you lose. You lose the simplicity, because the simplicity is the foundation of the complex. And so we tend to praise intellectualism and academics. The problem is sometimes the more education a person has, the stupider they are. And you see this a great deal in allopathy. A stupid modality that it ranks top of the killers of the planet. Last year in America, I think it was Gary Noel and a couple of other people put together, but I'm telling you, the website is full of these facts and figures. Even other medical doctors are squealing now on other medical doctors. Over 1 million people killed last year allopathically. 1 million! None naturopathically, but I'm a state that I'm going to protect its citizens. I'm going to bar naturopathy, but I'm going to allow allopathy. Oh, it kills a lot of people, but it's okay. Nature doesn't hurt anybody, but no, for the sake of the well-being of the people, we're going to allow the killers in and those that do no harm out. I find that totally interesting. Now, there's two sides to chemistry. What are they? Now, the nature of these two sides of chemistry is vital to understand. The two sides of chemistry can be paired or can be compared to male and female. The one side of chemistry can be considered the men. The other side of chemistry can be considered the ladies. Okay? Now, the male side of chemistry is by far the aggressive side of chemistry. Men are aggressive. They like to tear things apart. I was asking a guy in the other day if he had a screwdriver because I wanted to tear this phone apart and see how it was made. That was the male side of me. The female side of me is going to take a paint brush and put flowers on my phone. Because the female side of chemistry is the healing, the building side. Females create. They're the creative side. They sing, they dance, they write music, poetry, they knit, they make quilts. The male side of chemistry tears things apart. Essential. Not one is better over the other unless you have too much of one. Especially if you have too much males together, you have a very aggressive mix. Nothing wrong with that at certain stages. So, men, they're inflammatory. Women, anti-inflammatory. Now, when you see a male that's creative, that's his female side. I'm a musician, so that's my female side. I get in touch with that. I was raised by my grandmother and my mom and my sister. And then I had a grandfather who was a workaholic. And too much aggression there. I like the other side. So I was a musician into creative arts. That's my female side. But I can get my male side. I was a farm boy throwing hay, cutting Christmas trees. I mean, that was my male side. But I always like to come over on the female side too. And that's the way it is in chemistry. There's all levels of female chemistry and all levels of male chemistry. That's simple. Again, male chemistry inflammatory, female chemistry anti-inflammatory. To make it simple, male chemistry is referred to as corrosive chemistry in chemistry. And of course, the name of male chemistry is acids. Acids are the corrosive side of nature. Very aggressive. The main side or predominant side of chemistry on this planet is called base chemistry. Or another word that's highly used is alkaline chemistry. The base or alkaline side of chemistry is the female healing side of chemistry, which used to dominate this planet by 80% to 20%. In other words, the atmosphere at this level and fruits and vegetables predominantly were 80% base or alkaline chemistry to only 20% acid. In other words, there's a lot more calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium than there was phosphorus, iron, and the acid side. And this was very important because your blood is predominantly base chemistry. 7.4 is the pH of blood, or should be. So you can't dump acids into the blood without severely hurting yourself. Matter of fact, if your blood becomes acidic, what is the end result of that? Well, about 4 minutes from now, I'll be probably putting some flowers on your grave because your blood can't be acidic without killing you. That's simple. So you can't put acids in the blood. It must be regulated. So phosphorus in your acid side, your nitrogen side of chemistry, is the lowest side of chemistry. Man has to do the other way. For some reason, medical doctors think protein is the cat's meow, and the body can't even use it. So what we have is a recommendation of high acid foods in life. Grains, beans, meats, cooked dairy products, all these are highly acidic foods into a blood that is supposed to be alkaline. You can imagine that doesn't make the blood very happy. Matter of fact, the blood shocked. Oh my God, if you just ate a piece of meat, you could die from that. Because of the dominance of acid chemistry in the blood, you could bring that homeostasis of blood down to the acid side. That's it. But the blood can steal something. The body can take calcium out of the walls of your arteries, out of the walls of your veins, out of your fingernails, out of your bones. But particularly out of the walls when it's your blood, it'll steal them out of the walls of your vascular system. And guess what your symptom's going to be then? Bruising easy, varicose veins, spider veins, hemorrhoids, brittle fingernails, osteoporosis, scoliosis. You can just keep going right down along like connective tissue weaknesses. Everything starts bulging, herniations from aneurysms, go right on down the road. The body's stealing from its structure to fight acids. Because in this world, in this planet, if acids win, you lose. National Geographic did a beautiful show on the Appalachian Trail, and they were showing all these states, and there was park rangers, forest rangers in each of these states checking the water. And this one forest ranger says, well, you see that six-legged frog down there? Whoa, wow, what's that six-legged frog? It's a mutated frog. Well, how did that happen? The forest ranger said, acid rain. The acids are coming out of the atmosphere. You know why? Because pollution is acidic. Some of these countries I can't even go into anymore because it burns me so bad to breathe. They don't have catalytic converters. Car exhaust, acidic. Factories, acidic. We've dumped acids. Matter of fact, in LA, I heard there's a warning that if you're 70 years or older, move out, because that mushroom cloud is a dark acid mushroom cloud, and lung cancer is skyrocketing in the 70-year-old or olders. So now you're getting a good understanding that acid side of chemistry, not necessarily our friend, we need it. Your body produces a few acids. Hydrochloric acid, that's stomach acid, and it's needed to release pepsin because your body cannot use protein. Your body can only use what proteins are made of, and that's called amino acids. You get plenty of amino acids in fruits and vegetables. All the strongest animals in the world do not eat protein. Notice that? Your primate families, very few do protein whatsoever, and that's only where they're trapped and are forced to. Unless it's that wild primate family right now that were released, where man got them stuck on meat eating. Now they're eating other monkeys. They're cannibals. Totally bizarre for that species. Totally bizarre for that species. So your primate family and your herbivores, your elephants, your horses, and your cows, some of the strongest animals on this planet. Note lacking endurance. We use them for their power. And, of course, very intelligent beings. And they don't eat any meat at all. No protein at all. What's that? And our species fits right in with the frugivorous species. So this concept of protein, I could go over that for hours, holds no water whatsoever, and only serves to break down the human body. There's been one study after another study through the years, and last year, Shepard Smith was saying there was a 30-year study, I believe, linking high-protein diets to colon cancer. What they're not looking at is that same damage to kidneys. If your creatinine in your blood is more than 0.6, you're starting to lose your kidneys. I don't care if it's within normal ranges. You know, we look at things a little closer here in chemistry. So, watch yourself. So, what about your lymph fluid, though? Your blood has to be base chemistry, alkaline chemistry. Well, let's first establish a fact. Most cells, matter of fact, all of them I know of, eliminate waste. Got to. Essential. Because they're consuming. When you consume, you must eliminate, correct? So cellular waste, what side of chemistry do you think most of them lie on? Absolutely. Acids. Acids are generally the byproducts of metabolism, respiration, all types of chemical interactions in the human body, outside of the human body. It's everywhere. Most of these byproducts are acids. That's why you can't have several pounds of acids being created at the cellular level or interstitially and eat acids foods at the same time. That's the man's problem, and he's going downhill on a fast-moving train. The genetics are about to kill us all. If I sit here and I'm talking to you and I'm working my muscle here, what am I creating? Lactic acid, right? Now, that's okay if what? If I can remove that acid. Is it my blood's job to remove that acid? What happens if the blood gets acidic? And you can't convert all acids to bases. That's stupid. Nope. You've got separate eliminative organs for that. You can see that when the skin gets backed up subcutaneously with acids. Eczema, psoriasis, all types of skin rashes. Absolutely. These are all acids. That's why it makes the skin red. What happens if you forget to change your baby's diaper in a timely manner? See a little rash on the bottom? How come? A urine rash? Where'd that come from? Acids. The same acids that are at the cellular level, but hopefully The bacteria in the lymph nodes took those 3 pH acids, like phosphoric, carbonic, lactic acids, and brought them up to about 6. And it's far better to have a 6 pH acid hit your kidneys than a 3, because it's 3 pH acids that causes cancer. Cancer is just simply a damaged cell by acids. What acids damage cells? Any of them. Pick them. The acids don't differentiate. They don't say, oh, you're a good cell, I'm not going to touch you, I'll get this one over here. They're acids. And acids are acids, and they will always be acids. The only way to stop an acid is with base chemistry. You don't stop acids with an acid. When you come into an emergency room, whether by ambulance or you're walking in, most emergency room visits is acidosis. So we start an IV, we hang a bag of normal saline, or the guys, the EMTs, did it in the ambulance, and they start running alkaline chemistry through your blood. Why? Because all trauma and all ER visits are dietary related or trauma. All acidosis. And of course we're going to start cooling you down. That's the same reason we use corticosteroids. Inflammation is acidosis. And we're going to give you steroids to back down that inflammation. Not the right way, but certainly in a stat situation, may be possible. It should, especially spinal cord stuff, so you don't damage tissue. The big issue is your lymph system's got to pull those acids out of there, not your blood. Your blood doesn't clean up the mess. Your lymph system cleans up the mess. Your lymph system is the janitor, and that cleans up the mess, not the blood. Your blood is simply the kitchen, bringing home the goodies. But your lymph must clean up all trauma, all tissue, all mess. That's why wounds don't heal well. Surgery doesn't heal well. Because they're always done where there is acidosis, where there's trauma, and you don't heal well. You cannot regenerate cells in your body in an acid medium. That's why medical doctors have no ability to regenerate tissue, and that's all we do is regenerate tissue and remember cells genetically, because we know the truth about energy, chemistry, and how the body works. We don't work on these antiquated theories that hold no water and has man afraid to look outside, afraid they'll catch something. Ridiculous, crazy, insane. And it's been the downfall of the human race, both monetarily. Look at what the allopathic community's done to the monetary system of this country. We have a hospital down here that charged $9,000 for one EKG, which is $60. I don't care if I overcharge you $200, and a chest X-ray, which is $70 if I overcharge you $200. They charge $9,000. These people are being looked at, hopefully, by the State Attorney General's office. Fawcett needs to be charged. Bad. That's what's the problem. They're not the solutions. They're the problems. So we have to correct that. So it's important that you understand acids and the vital need of the body to remove them. That's why the lymph system is a thicker, mucousy, lipid-based fluid, because it deals with the acid side of chemistry. Now the acid side of chemistry, it's like a little Pac-Man. But what it does, acids create what they call an anionic environment. An anionic environment is an environment of coagulation and dehydration. So this fluid has a tendency to get thick. You ever cough up a real big mucus plug and how thick that is? That's what happens to the lymph system in your body. It gets thickened, hardened. Some of these tumors get hard as a rock. What's a tumor? Pocket of fluid. What kind of fluid do you think you're going to find in a tumor? Same kind of fluid you're going to find in a boil or a pimple? Or how about a cyst? Absolutely. You only have two fluids in the human body primarily. What are those? Interstitial fluids, blood and lymph. Blood and lymph. The dominant fluid, a little water, okay. Blood and lymph dominates the human body, period. End of story. So, real important to understand the lymph system, because that's where 99% of all the problems, all the pain, all the swelling. I don't care what arthritis it is. I don't care what lupus, Lyme's. I mean, they lump these as autoimmune. What's autoimmune about any of those? Nothing. That's your sewer system. And so what if you get a viral? Your sewer system is a dump. It's your culturing medium. You have no culturing medium, you have no problem. You have no acidosis, you have no pain and swelling. Congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, these are all lymphatic problems. Gangrene, lymphatic problems. Of course, it just happens to be the kidneys are at the core of the problem, and well, now we got the adrenals. So what do you see? All the diabetes. So now they blame diabetes causing kidney problems. Are you serious? It's the reverse. This is the problem. What medical doctors believe, if you reversed it, you'd probably find the truth. And that's one of them. The problems with the kidneys and the adrenals in the first place, that affects sugar metabolism. There's no such thing as diseases. If you want to empower yourself with knowledge, get rid of this idea and fallacy and concept of an illusion of diseases, because they don't exist. Everything is chemistry and physics in action, and you have cause and effect. And of course, the overriding principle is the strong survive, the weak are consumed. And you must understand that cellularly and what nature does to eliminate its weaknesses. You also must learn in chemistry what the body does to fight acids. And your body has two main antacids in the human body. And those two main antacids in the human body is number one, cholesterol, and LDL, of course, is what your adrenal steroids are made from. HDL is phospholipids, all in the cell wall. Why? Protection against acids. Your body must protect itself against the use of acids. There is a protection with estrogen. Estrogen is acidic. But what protects the body from too much estrogen burn? Progesterone. How about testosterone? Progesterone. You can use any corticosteroid, would work. How about hydrochloric acid in the stomach? Bicarbonate from the pancreas. So if you have true acid reflux, you're going to have bicarbonate problems in the pancreas, aren't you? Absolutely. So understanding this war between the two sides and what the body has to do to win, because if acids win, you lose. And you can name any condition there is out there, and you're going to always use the word acidosis. Acidosis, acidosis. There's only two sides to chemistry. Pick one. There's only two major fluids of the human body. Pick one. You're going to be 50% right. How'd you like to go to Las Vegas and bet $1 million and know you got 50% chance to win? So, real important to understand the gigantic lymph system and the role the kidneys and the skin play in the elimination of this, and that the adrenal glands are the controlling parties to the kidneys. And of course the thyroid controls how the fevers of the body and can control the elimination through the skin. So getting healthy is primarily focused on the lymph. Blood is easy. Just change your diet to fruits and veggies. You'll clean the blood, everything's good. But I got to go through the blood to get to the lymph. And vegetables are not good to get to the lymph. Only fruit and berries and melons are good to move lymph. And especially your subacid and acid fruits are the king of moving lymph. But you got to get the kidneys to filter, means you got to get your adrenals up. So we use herbs to help do that. We use herbs to pick up the adrenals. We use herbs to get the kidneys to filter. We use herbs to move the lymph. Outside of that, you have glandulars to help these endocrine glands to pop up and do better. But it's a trip. Getting well isn't taking one supplement. Getting well isn't taking a pharmaceutical. Getting well isn't taking something magic out there. Getting well is a process of unwinding what you created unknowingly, but what you created in your own body. And that, of course, rests on the chest of genetics. And the whole thing, I have videos in the front of these talking about genetics and how creation is put together. Understand how creation is put together, which is very simple, and you'll get a good understanding of why there's memory, and memory in all things, including plants, including animals, and including cells. So take time and understand this lymph system, and take a look at your lymphatic system, because it is the system that is protecting you, but it's also the system that's hurting you. You know, the ironic thing is most people die on their own waste. And these are acids. And you'll learn to respect acids. The pH scale, or what we measure acids with, we measure acids through the use of the atoms of hydrogen. So we have pH, or the potential of hydrogen. And so what we have is a scale from 0 to 14. 0 to 7 is basically the acid side, where 7 is neutral, and then from 7 on is the base or alkaline side of chemistry. Very simple scale, right? Look at Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, they all have a pH of about 2.8, 2.9, 3 pH. So let's call it 3 pH. Pretty hot stuff. Put a Coke in your mouth and burn my mucosa because acids burn. Ow! Or you can feel the heat from acids. Right? Gatorade. Minnesota School of Dentistry found Gatorade to be 2.85. So I heard the National Football League got wind of that. I hope so, because you don't rehydrate in an acid medium. That's what dehydrates you. You rehydrate in a base or alkaline mix. So why would they sell Gatorade to anybody? I don't know. Or any of them. These are acid drinks. We got to get away from acids. Part of the problem, not part of the solution. Or any of them. These are acid drinks. We got to get away from acids. Part of the problem, not part of the solution. So you look at hydrochloric acid in the stomach, 1.8 to 2 roughly, 2 pH, 10 times hotter roughly, let's say, than Coke. Pretty hot. Break down proteins, you know, break down your skin, in other words. Put a little hydrochloric acid, uric acid somewhere in that same level. How about battery acid? We know battery acid would never put on the skin. That would burn that skin right off, right? Because that is a pH of 1. So battery acid, pretty friggin' hot, right? 10 times hotter than hydrochloric acid and 100 times hotter than a Coke. So imagine something 100 times hotter or more acidic than a Coke. Pretty hot stuff. Now, chemotherapy. Chemotherapy has a pH basically 1.5 to 2, maybe 2.2. The earlier chemos were closer to battery acid. The newer ones a little more less acidic, shall we say, but still right there with hydrochloric acid or a little hotter. I say somewhere between 10 and 50 times hotter than the 3 pH acids that are damaging the cell. So let me see if I've got this right. Your cellular wastes or acids, they're roughly around 3 pH. When these acids can't be eliminated out of the cell anymore because of lymph stagnation, you have intracellular acidosis. These 3 pH acids is what creates an atypical or a cancer cell. We're going to treat that problem with an acid that's 10 to 50 times hotter because well, I can't come up with a reason. Well, let's see. We're certainly going to put it in the blood. Well, wait a minute. The blood can't be acidic because then you have to still calcium. I had a hospital administrator at one of my classes one day, and he said, I know a statistic you don't, I bet. And I said, what's that? And he said, do you know how many people die of aortic aneurysms from the use of chemo being poured through a subclavian and poured right into the aorta? I said, you know, I never even thought about it. I had a lady come in one day, severe parathyroid weakness, bruising easy all over the place and varicose veins, and she said they won't give me a chemo. I said that was one of the first smart oncologists I've ever heard of, because giving her chemo would have just caused an aneurysm all over the place, killed her right off. Now they better wait and take someone, kill them within a 5-year period. I mean, I've never heard of anything more insane than using cancer-causing treatments. Radiation and chemo are one of the top cancer-causing treatments. Why would you use a cancer-causing treatment to treat cancer? To treat a damaged cell from acid? Forget the word cancer. That's their crap department they use to get money from you. This is a damaged cell by acids. You're going to take a hotter acid, 10 or 50 times hotter, to kill it? Well, whatever affects one cell affects all cells. Thank you very much for that. So what's going to happen? You damage a lot more cells, and anywhere you have cells already being broken down by acids, that's your next hotspot. It already is a hotspot. That becomes your next cancer. Cancer doesn't get up and move on you. Are they smoking something in the back room? You can't take a cell, pluck it out of the liver, carry it to the brain and make your brain cells cancerous because a liver cell is cancerous, got damaged by an acid. What are they? These guys are insane. You can't do some of these things. This whole thing, that's just how they control and manipulate you. They control and manipulate you through fear. If you fear anything, you fear an acid. and what you have to do to get rid of it. So understand the lymph system. Understand that fruits and berries and melons are the best foods for lymphatic congestion. Whether you got sinuses, you got tumors, it doesn't matter what you got, it's all lymphatics. Interstitial fluid, tumors are interstitial fluid, cysts are interstitial fluid. Not moving anywhere very fast. And these tumors will break up as the body isolates this acid mix. The body will open up, and when the pathways open, your body is the smart one. We're the ones that clogged our bodies, acidified our bodies, and broke down our bowels and our kidneys, clogged our lymph systems with all this crap milk. And now we have serious lymphatic problems. And you're not going to get rid of them in 2 weeks. You got moving that lymph from head to toe is miles long. You got some work ahead of you. But the good news is there isn't anything your body can't regenerate. We regenerate anything from brain cells to toe cells. So it's really cool to get on the health side of this. You lose that medical disease dark side that they're totally lost in the woods somewhere. Someday maybe they'll find their way back. But you have to take care of your body and your health. And if you must knowledge up, please. And then you'll be okay. You'll protect yourself, your loved ones, your family, and they won't fall to this huge machine that's killing people, and no judge, nobody's looking or taking or understanding this and putting them to task, charging them with manslaughter. No, it's okay. We can kill people. Is it okay to kill 90% of the people you're using your therapy on? Someday you'll wake up to the real stats of the death rate from the use of chemo and radiation, and your mouth will fall open and you'll break your jaw when it hits your desk. It is unbelievable. And I've said this before on videos. Look at how many movie stars you know of that got cancer, and is 90% of them or more still alive and doing well with no cancer? 99% of them are dead unless someone started using natural therapies to help them stay alive. So it's, you find out, you figure that out. But all I can tell you is understand that great lymphatic system of the human body, and you're miles ahead of any other practitioner that doesn't understand that system. The system of all the pain, the swelling, the system of all the cancers. So understand that gigantic lymph system. I hope this video helped you with that. Maybe I'll add to this, and we'll keep adding on the back of these videos, and we can get a little more involved in that. But keep it simple. Your life will be healthy and well. So always keep things simple. Understand that all your answers are already supplied for you, and God gave them to you. Nature offers all of them. Get yourself healthy. Focus on health. Lose the concept of diseases, and you'll be so glad you did. So thank you so much for viewing this video and any of our other ones. Thank you, and may the blessings be to every one of you. And get yourselves healthy and well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.